The Washington Redskins have come to terms with cornerback DeAngelo Hall. It's a 4-year extension worth $20 million. Hall confirmed it by tweeting to RG3, "I'm back, little bro. Let's be #great." We are joined by John Keim, who covers the Redskins for ESPN.com, with more insight here. And John, tell me why this is a good deal for the Skins.
Well, there are a couple of reasons. One, DeAngelo Hall is coming off arguably his best season in Washington. He did not make the Pro Bowl this year, and he did in 2010. But overall, I thought he was more consistent this year, and he was matched up against top receivers like Des Bryant, Calvin Johnson, Brandon Marshall a lot, and he competed very well against them. So I think he was very consistent. The Redskins have a lot of needs on defense. They're going to, and I don't think they wanted to create another need by letting Hall go, and they got him for a price that is probably going to be in line with somebody of his caliber. And I think if they had gone after a top free agent corner, they would have had to have paid several million dollars more, and perhaps would have taken them out of the running for some other spots that they also need to upgrade.
Yeah, to back up your point on that, 4 interceptions, 2 pick sixes, 3 defensive touchdowns. What made him a more productive player this past season than years gone by?
Well, I think he was a little bit humbled by last offseason in that the Redskins released him and nobody really showed any interest. And there was some flirtation with Detroit, but nothing was ever really serious. And so he came back here, I think, a little bit more to prove. He was more physical in press man coverage. So I think the Redskins allowed him to play press man coverage more. I think that's where he's probably best right now. When he had to play off man or in zone, not quite as effective, but in press man, he was very effective, and he competed pretty hard. And I think so. You add all that up, I think that's why he played well this year.
So, John, unlike the previous 2 off seasons, they have a little bit of money to spend this off season, but they have Hall taken care of and some of their own free agents still. What is the priority for the Redskins with their own?
Well, I think with their own, it starts with Brian Orakpo out the outside linebacker, who is expected to be a free agent in March, or could be a free agent in March. They want to re-sign him. That is a top priority. I know there's a lot of debate among Redskins fans about whether or not what he's worth, but the Redskins consider him their best pass rusher, and he's very good against the run. So they would like to get him done. And then inside linebacker Perry Riley is another, and then I think defensive lineman Chris Baker, who's coming off. He's mostly a reserve this year, but he's coming off a strong showing late in the year. And so I think they'd like to keep him around too. So I think those 3 would be the guys that I'd say that they would like to get back more than anybody.
Inking Hall and those other 3 on defense would certainly make defensive coordinator Jim Haslett a happy camper. Again, DeAngelo Hall inks a 4-year deal. It's an extension worth $20 million. John Keim covers the Redskins for ESPN.com. John, thanks for the insight. You can read more about this story right here on ESPN.com. But with the latest ESPN headlines, I'm Jim Basquil.